Hello everyone, and hello you, bro. Welcome to Bootcamp Video 5. To sell, you must practice what you preach. Obviously, we've gone over a lot of practice now. This is you telling someone to conform to the identity of the person that they want to become in their belief system. Therefore, they act a certain way, so therefore they see certain results. But this also means you must be doing it yourself in order to make someone do this now. You cannot help a prospect break their limiting beliefs whilst you're still living inside your own. Sales is identity work. You sell from the identity you operate from. If your identity is weak, uncertain, fearful, or misaligned, your conviction drops, your tone will drop, and your prospect will feel this immediately. These are the common beliefs about your identity that limit you as a sales rep. And I'm going to go over each and every single one and break them for yourself now, because allowing you to break them means it's going to be so much easier now for you guys to go through the frameworks after these videos. So common limiting beliefs of sales reps is like they tell themselves, I'm not confident, I'm not a leader, I'm not the type of person who wins. But the thing is, you're preaching to someone an identity of someone that is confident, but you haven't been able to do that yourself. Therefore, how are you going to do that? Or there's a certain limiting belief by why you lack confidence, which the prospect also has, but because you're unaware of your own, you're not going to be able to spot it into the prospect. Therefore, how can you break the limiting belief and make them cross the bridge between their current and their desired state? You can't, right? So it's so important that you are consistently breaking your own limiting beliefs in order to progress in this space, right? So I don't deserve success yet, I'm too young, I'm not good enough. All of these beliefs shape how you act and shape your results. These beliefs are directly now limiting you from taking action and directly limiting you from seeing results. And why are these all being said? For example, telling yourself I'm too young is a way for your brain, for example, to strive for comfort instead of discomfort. But where do people see more growth in discomfort? Therefore, is telling yourself you're too young just a way of you disguising the fact that you want comfort? Yes. So what must you do? You must still act. So when you're able to spot these limiting beliefs because you understand mindset, that's how you get someone to cross that bridge. Usually people have a lot about money being hard. Think about it. People believing money is hard, they're associating pain to money. If you associate pain to money, yes or no is now there going to be resistance in the pursuit to money. Yes. Therefore, that means every time you try to pursue money, there's always this resistance where you're telling yourself you want to do one thing, but you're doing another because your perception of money is skewed. That's why you believe it's hard. Right? Sales reps have this belief, therefore, when they go into the closing, especially high ticket, they're putting money on pedestals. They believe it's hard to make. They believe it's, not easy to obtain. Therefore, they even put the price that they're selling on a pedestal. They believe it's a lot. By believing it's a lot, you're going to lack conviction when you pitch, when you sell. You're also going to get loads of price objections like it's too expensive because you weren't able to pre-handle the money objections because you have the same objections that they have. Therefore, you aren't able to make them aware of the limiting belief, which is making them believe it's expensive, right? Because you are unaware of your own limiting beliefs that make you believe that the price is expensive, right? So people believing money is hard, that's one way it affects them. But also people believing money is hard. You as a sales rep, you're putting the price on a pedestal. If you're putting the price on a pedestal, what are you doing? You're building a gap between you and the money. If you're putting a gap between you and that money, are you going to feel worthy of having that amount of money? No. So it's like, how can you truly act like the 2.0 version of yourself who believes he's worthy of this money if you currently believe you're unworthy of this amount of money and you're putting on a pedestal? You can't. So if you're as a sales rep thinking that shit's a lot of money, how the hell are you meant to make someone else believe it's not a lot of money and start operating from the 2.0 version of themselves so that they can start to make aligned action from this abundant mindset? You can't. So you must actively be breaking these beliefs and tell me if any of these resonate with you and I'll literally break them. You need to grind 24/7 to earn it. This is just another limiting belief. Whatever you believe to be true is what becomes true. Your eyeballs are projectors of whatever you believe to be true. So if you believe you need to grind 24/7 to earn it, that is exactly what your reality will mirror back to you. Right? Because all your reality is just a mirror of your subconscious mind. Money doesn't grow on trees. Another way of you believing money is hard to obtain. If you believe money is hard to obtain, that's what your reality will mirror back to you. But as soon as you flip it to it being easy, that's what your reality will mirror back to you. The only reason you believe money is hard to make, the only reason you put money on a pedestal is because of the limiting beliefs you have bought into from society, right? From your parents, from school, from videos, them telling you that money is so hard. So from you listening to this, you limit the potential you believe you can tap into, right? And the amount of potential you believe you can tap into is only the amount you believe you can, right? So this means directly that you limit your goals. And by limiting your goals, the amount you obtain is less than you could truly actually obtain. As soon as you change the potential and now believe you're worthy of something greater than the potential from your limited beliefs now, and you actually unlearn these limiting beliefs and you think bigger, you're now confident, you now respect yourself, and you think big that's reflective to your authentic self, actually aiming for a Lamborghini rather than a Honda Civic. Now you can actually tap into the Lamborghini. Now you can actually gain the Lamborghini, because as I said, right, the potential you tap into is only how much you believe you can tap into. So you need to focus on unlearning these beliefs, because all of these beliefs that you've bought into about money, about yourself, are from usually people you don't want to be. So why are you listening to them? If you were getting hench in the gym, would you listen to the fat person? No. So why are you listening to these people when it comes to your financial pursuit of money if they're in a position you don't want to be in? It's ludicrous, right? The only reason you've listened to it is because that's what you've been exposed to your whole life. So it's about unlearning these beliefs, thinking differently, and thinking in alignment to the 2.0 version of yourself. Then it is much easier to progress. When you think to yourself, you need to think to yourself a lot, like, would the 2.0 think this? Would the 2.0 think this? And every time you realize the 2.0 wouldn't think this, start asking yourself why. Why? Why wouldn't he think this? Why would he think this? Why do I have this belief? And really try and tap into why you have this belief, and you'll realize that this belief you don't even want to believe. It's something directly nerfing the actions you take, because it's something that you believe is true, but it's not true. It's just something you've learned from someone you don't want to be. So change that. To win, you must suffer, right? Whatever you believe to be true is what will become true. If you believe you need to suffer, you will suffer. If you don't believe you need to suffer, you won't suffer. Work must be hard. Sales is pushy. People will judge me, right? Why are you scared of people judging you? You're scared of people judging you. Why? Is there a lack of confidence somewhere? Remember, right, if I called you a purple alien, you wouldn't care, because you know it's not true. So whatever you're scared about people judging you, you subconsciously believe that's true about you. Have you thought of that? Probably not. So tap into why you believe that's true about you. Work out what it is. Why do you have that belief? And flip it. Because with every experience, with every belief, there's a binary, there's a positive, there's a negative. You choose the negative for no reason. It literally does not impact you in any positive way. So choose the positive. Choose the positive way of looking at it, and now progress with the positive mindset. About approval, for example, I don't want people to think I'm greedy. That means you subconsciously believe you're greedy. Why do you believe that? See? Dig into your own beliefs. By digging into your own beliefs, you can dig into prospects, right? That's how you become a good sales rep, by you constantly progressing to become the best possible version of yourself. When you can do that, that's how you do it to another prospect. That's how you make someone become the best possible version of themselves, because you are actively doing it yourself. People needing material motivation, telling themselves, I want money to flex. I want I want success to impress people. My worth comes from what I achieve. Can you imagine? My worth comes from what I achieve is so contradictory to the 2.0 version of yourself. You're essentially saying that once I get to a certain point, then I'm worth something. But that means up until that point, you don't believe you're worthy. Can you see how that makes no sense? So that means in the pursuit to your money, you don't believe you're worthy of the person you're trying to become. Therefore, there's going to be so much resistance. As soon as you flip it and now truly believe you're worthy of that version, now the resistance drops, because your subconscious is playing against what you want. So it's about truly breaking these beliefs in order to stay aligned to your authentic self. As soon as you break them, it becomes so easy for you to become the best possible version of yourself, but for you to also now preach it onto somebody else, and for you to spot these beliefs, reframe these beliefs, and now make them operate from the newer identity. So what you need to do personally before you can sell to others is you must be able to sell yourself. Logically and emotionally. You must emotionally know what you are trying to do and what you are trying to become. The man who deserves the life you want, right? But you must also logically sell yourself in the way he gets there. You must know who you are in identity. Why do you want success? Whether your identity lines with the 2.0 version of yourself. Ask yourself, does the 2.0 version of me think like this? Whenever you have a belief, scrutinize your belief system. You'll realize that it's skewed, it's fucked. Does the 2.0 version of me act like this? Does the 2.0 version of me believe this? Does the 2.0 version of me talk like this? Does the 2.0 version of me feel like this? If the answer is no, you must flip this belief. You cannot become the 2.0 with 1.0 beliefs. It just does not make any sense. It really does not make any sense. Think about it, people. How can you become the 2.0 with 1.0 beliefs? You can't. And you guys are consistently trying to do this, which means there's always resistance in the pursuit to those goals. And you need to realize, if you want to become the best possible closer, the guy who is preaching to people about becoming the best possible version of themselves, right? To operate from this 2.0 identity, but you still operate from the 1.0. There is no way you're going to be able to have those calls with conviction, but also shift and reframe someone's identity. That's why it's so important you guys listen to this, because it's about yourself. Okay? You need to make your prospect believe you believe what you were saying. How can you believe what you were saying? By doing it yourself. By doing it yourself. You have to do these things yourself. You need to emotionally sell yourself. Just like you emotionally sell a product, you must emotionally sell yourself. As I was saying, people, the more specific your own goals are, the clearer the mental image, the stronger the emotion, the easier it is to feel the 2.0. And if you feel the 2.0, what are you doing? You're aligning your identity. And through aligned identity, you will take the aligned action and you will see those results. It's the same with logically, man. You must emotion. Emotion is just not enough as well. You also need to logically have the action steps that you abide by every day, your habits, your routines, your standards, your daily commitments. These actions will tell you about your subconscious. This is who you are now. The logic and the emotion is what creates this new identity shift. And in order to do this, I'm going to tell you guys the most basic concept, but it's the easiest way to now progress in life. And it's rooting yourself in love. Start telling yourself you love yourself. Okay? I respect myself. I respect myself. I do what I promise myself. I do what I promise myself. Therefore, I do the things I need to do in order to become the version of myself. Why it's so important to consciously affirm this, right, in your conscious mind, is because if you consciously affirm the fact that you love yourself, that means you respect yourself. And if you respect yourself, you do the things you promise yourself daily. And if you do the things you promise yourself daily, you are consistently becoming the best possible version of yourself. And if you're consistently becoming the best possible version of yourself, you're going to enter these calls with that conviction to make someone else become the best possible version of themselves. Because if you're becoming the best possible version of yourself, that also means you're tapped into the 2.0 identity. That means you being able to tap into the 2.0 identity in your own personal life, that means you can also do it to prospects because you're doing it to yourself, right? You might not believe this at first, but you must affirm it consistently until your subconscious mind accepts it. Remember, whatever you impress from the conscious mind into the subconscious will be expressed into reality. If you love yourself, you will be able to see it in reality. What do you think reality looks like of someone that loves themselves? They are consistently progressing. They are consistently taking the actions they know they need to take in order to become the best possible version of themselves. Remember, identity is repeated doing this. Identity comes from repetition. Even something as small as brushing your teeth. Remind yourself that you love yourself, that you take care of yourself. That's how you can truly ingrain it in your head. Our brain loves proof. When we have proof, as small as brushing your teeth, remind yourself, I love myself, I brush my teeth, I did what I told myself I would do. These tiny acts build this belief system. And through this belief system, you consistently become the best possible version of yourself, and you're operating from this frequency of love. And I promise you guys, closers that operate from this frequency of love, when they enter sales calls, they're killer because they have the conviction, and they're also consistently progressing and becoming the best possible version of themselves. That's why they're able to do it to other people. And you need to tie this all back to sales, people. When your identity lines, sorry, there's some random ass itch here. You speak with certainty. Your tone carries power. You handle objections confidently. You don't get flustered. You don't choose validation. You don't fear rejection because you're abundant. You're detached from money. It's like money flows to you. You lead instead of following. Prospects trust you instantly. You operate from abundance. You attract sales easily. Sales is not tactics, scripts, or just persuasion. It's identity, energy, and alignment. When you operate from the 2.0, prospects will feel safe. They will feel inspired. They will feel it's possible. They will feel capable. They'll feel willing. They'll say yes, because identity sells more than words will ever. So guys, shift your own identity. And by shifting your own identity, that's how you can shift the prospect's identity. And you guys understand that when you shift your prospect's identity, they will take the actions in alignment to the 2.0. They will see the results of the 2.0. Therefore, they will feel worthy of becoming the 2.0, this identity you are promising them. And that's how they will buy. But you need to do it to yourself first. Bootcamp video 6.